Good morning. I'm Charlie Meng, the Executive Director of the Arlington Food Assistance Center. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I know this is a very different format for Empty Bowls, and it's a format that I very much regret because this is really a community event where I get to see and talk with a lot of the volunteers and just a lot of the supporters of AFAC who have been with us for so many years. So I want to say just a little bit about how the pandemic has affected AFAC. You know, early on we had to do one of the things that I don't like to do, and that is change our distribution to prepackaged meals and food. But we soon learned that we could do that and follow all of the best practices during this time. That meant we are socially distanced. Everyone wears a mask. We insist on that for volunteers and for our clients. And we've been able to bring families back into our building and provide a choice of food and get back to the way we do food distribution in a dignified, honorable fashion for our many families. The numbers have increased. We've seen a 45% increase in the number of families who have been referred to us. In very simple terms, at some point during the month, we serve upwards of 3,500 families during a month. Right now, we're serving 2,400 families on an average basis. That is a significant increase from the time prior to the pandemic. We've also been able to make some additional changes. In October, our board of directors authorized the purchase of the warehouse next door and will shortly authorize the renovation of that building. Once that is done, we'll be able to unify both buildings and have even greater capacity to serve more families who are food insecure, particularly now during the pandemic. I want to thank all of you for your hard work, for your dedication, and for your support. Thank you very much.
Welcome to AFAC's Empty Bowl event. I'm Grace Abinajim-Shea with Lebanese Savarna Group. I'm excited to teach you today red lentil soup. It's one of the staples in our kitchen here at my home and also at the restaurants. It's a great versatile soup that you can do in the winter or summer. Today I made it with water to keep it vegan, but you can use chicken stock at home if you'd like to give it a little extra flavor. I hope you enjoy this video and thank you for supporting AFAC. So we're gonna make red lentil soup today. You can make this vegan if you'd like by using water, or chicken stock if you wanna give it a little extra flavor. But we have all of our ingredients here. We have chopped onions, carrots. This is 1 bag of baby spinach. We have red lentils here, split red lentils that have been rinsed a couple times. Of course, you can find these at Lebanese Savarna Market. We have short grain rice. This is Egyptian rice that we use. And then the seasoning is simple. It's just cumin and salt. And then we're going to finish it off with a little bit of lemon juice. We're going to start by sauteing our onions, of course, again with Lebanese olive oil. We use this for everything in our house. I love it. You can see the nice green color to it. And we're going to put the onions in. You want to do this in a I like to use this Dutch oven, but any heavy-duty pot will work. Because once you get everything going, you're going to cook it for about a half hour or so to get the consistency that you'd like. I like it a little thicker. And actually, that's what is great about the rice is you can put less or more rice depending on how thick you want it. This is just a 1/4 cup, so it gives it a little bit of body to your soup, but you can omit it completely or you can add more if you'd like more of a porridge than a soup consistency. You can also alter that with the water. Once the onions have cooked for a couple minutes, we're going to add the diced carrots now. And give that a couple minutes too, just to cook it down a little bit and let it mix with the onions. It already smells delicious. All right, now we are going to add the lentils and the rice. The lentils I have washed a couple times in water just to give them a little rinse and make them a little bit softer than they would be if you just left them unrinsed. So we're going to add the lentils. And the rice. And I like to toast the rice and the lentils for a minute in with the onions and the carrots. It kind of helps them cook a little bit faster and gives it a little bit more flavor than if you were just added the water directly. We'll let that cook for about a minute, and then we'll be adding the spinach, lemon juice, and salt and pepper after we add the water. And you want to add this slowly because there's no exact measurement to the water. It just needs to be a few inches above the ingredients in the pot. So I'm going to give it a good stir, and it looks like I need to add a little bit more water. And like I said at the beginning, you can add chicken stock if you want to add a little bit more flavor to this. And you might need to make an adjustment after we add the spinach, because the spinach is a lot of volume, but once it hits the water, it's going to reduce quite a bit. And you get your greens in for the day, so it's a win-win. So we've added the spinach, and we're just going to kind of nestle this so that it can get in the water, and you'll see that it will quickly reduce significantly. And as that's going down, I think I'm going to add a little bit more water to give this a good bath. We'll let that cook down for a second. And in the meantime, I'm going to squeeze some lemon juice and add the cumin and salt. And actually, when I serve this, it's really nice to maybe give a squeeze of fresh lemon juice at the end right before you serve it. Then this is a tablespoon of cumin, tablespoon of salt. I know that seems like a lot, but the lentils really need that amount to kind of give it a little flavor and brighten it up a bit. Give that a good stir. It looks like I might be using more water. You want to turn it up because you want it to bring it to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, you bring it to a simmer and then just cover it and let it cook for 30 to 40 minutes. Last bit of water. We're going to cover it and we'll check back in about 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been about a half an hour, so let's take a look and see the consistency. This is perfect for me. It's a little bit thick, but not too watery. And you can see it's very interesting that the red lentils are actually now yellow. But everything's cooked down really nicely, and it's soft. And you see all that spinach that we put in really didn't turn out to be much in the soup. So feel free to double that if you'd like, if you want to get a little bit more greens into your soup. So we're going to go ahead and just put a little bit, I'm going to turn it off. And we're going to put a little bit here into a bowl so you can see. Oh, it's so good. And we have our red lentil soup with carrots, onions, spinach. I'm going to put a squeeze of lemon on this before I eat it, just to give it a little bit of brightness. I hope you enjoy your soup. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Empty Bowls is an annual fundraiser here for the Arlington Food Assistance Center. It's a wonderful fusion of visual, musical, and culinary arts, all in support of AFAC.
My favorite things about Empty Bowls is that it's a family-friendly event that brings people together with a meal and with art, and everyone's there for the same mission, which is to help feed our neighbors who are hungry.
what's fun about it is it's delicious soup in beautiful hand-thrown one-of-a-kind pots, sitting in a big church hall with your friends and neighbors.
It seemed like a fun thing to do to support AFAC, and an opportunity for the community to participate by making food and making bowls.
A lot of people that live in Arlington showed up for the Empty Bowls. So it really was a community event, and not just neighbors and friends and people that volunteer at AFAC, but also the restaurants in the community. It was interesting to see them participate and taste their wares, you might say.
First in my list would be an opportunity to sample so many great foods from so many local restaurants who are all contributing. But right behind that would be supporting AFAC and collecting great bowls that I can then pass to my mother for Christmas. So please, nobody tell my mother gifts that she's getting for Christmas.
I think that kids enjoy the event because there's a potter there who they seem to really enjoy to watch in action.
I think it's such a successful community event because of all the support it gets from the community, from the potters, to the restaurants, the bakeries, the AFAC volunteers who bake, and of course the hard work and creativity of the committee, which has been going for many, many years.
From the restaurant's perspective, it's a direct way for them to contribute to the community. As a restaurant, you can see that this is going to support AFAC, which is going to support local families. And so it's a much more direct way to kind of, I guess, uplift the community as a whole.
The other group who sometimes gets lost in the fray, I think, are the high school kids. That every year we enlist high school kids from local schools, and they do setup and serving and cooking and cleaning and clean up and put everything away, and they're kind of fun to have around because the committee tends to be on the older side, and so it's fun to have the high school kids there too, and they're great. Simon's Junction, every year they donate their time. They show up whatever the weather, in snow and ice. They refuse to take anything. They donate all their time and talent, and the music is just perfect for a kind of a community lunch.
Well, I think the event has grown over the years because of its reputation. We started off with just one seating many years ago, and then quickly grew to having two seatings because it has become a very popular event because it's unique.
Over the years, the potters have been so generous that we tended to get more bowls than we needed. A few years ago, we test drove the idea, why don't we sell the surplus bowls? We'll put a table up and see. And it turned out to be so popular that over time, it's really grown to be a real fundraiser adjunct to the Empty Bowls Luncheon to support the AFAC program.
Hopefully we can do this again next year and have just as much success as past year.